My name is K3, and I'm joined by Caution today. And we are going to be casting you a game for the Down2frag tournament. I believe this is round 3 out of 6, and it will be under Team Flamingos and I believe it's Team Pros Gamers.
Pro Gamers, yeah.
Yeah, Team Pro Gamers for the other team. And this will be a North America versus South America game, I believe. However, we have managed to come to an agreement to play on one game on a neutral Miami server instead of playing the home and away system, which I believe is usually a pretty good call if they can manage to get a pretty even ping spread, which looks like it is a pretty solid ping balance at the moment. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. I believe that these two teams are actually fighting for their tournament lives at the moment because one more loss for either side may eliminate them from contention from the playoff bracket. So I'm interested to see how they attempt to recover and keep fighting for their lives.
Yeah, thankfully, in this game, it's looking like everyone's got green, low orange, so hopefully it will be a very good match.
Yeah, this match will be played on the Apex config for those who are not familiar. Essentially, take your classic Confoggle Pro Mod type thing, remove melee weapons, remove the spitter, and add a second hunter. And that's basically what the config comes down to. It'll be played on the Blood Harvest campaign, and they will be playing finales. You know, I think that, this is a map that kind of sucks on spitter configs, so it was a good call for the admins to use this config.
Yeah, Apex seems to work very well with Blood Harvest. Some tight areas where Spitter can do a lot of damage and be really devastating for a team, so Apex seems to work very well.
Yeah, agreed.
It also relies more heavily on teamwork, because if one person gets boomed without those melee weapons, you just need your teammates to clear all the commons off you.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with all the trees and the forest around, it's really hard to navigate your way through. Boomers are a really big aspect on this campaign. Having scrimmed it a few times and trying to prepare for our match, one thing I've learned is if you're popping the boomers, you're winning, and if you're not popping the boomers, you're very, very much losing. So I'm looking forward to seeing the shotguns from both teams, keeping an eye out for those boomers and trying to not get lost in the forest.
Yeah, like you said, if the boomers get popped, you're looking sweet. But if a boomer lands, especially on tank, and it's a 2, it could spell disaster for a team.
Yeah, definitely. So we are going to be waiting up for these two teams to finish readying up. I don't believe that the fourth for Team Pro Gamers has joined yet. I'm not sure. Is it because there is an S after the pros? So is it Pros Gamers or Pro Gamers? I'm not sure.
I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's pro gamers.
Okay. But yeah, we are just waiting for the two teams to ready up, which anyone who has been in the Left 4 Dead community for any amount of time knows is can be a pretty arduous wait at certain moments.
Typical Left 4 Dead 2, am I right?
Yeah. It's a true testament to the love of the game to spend 75% of our hours actually just waiting for games to, get unpaused, for players to join up for a pug and to ready up.
It wouldn't be Left 4 Dead 2 and the game we love without all these niche little things like that.
Oh, I mean, it would. It would. I think that not a single person would debate against, if everybody, if there's like a time limit for, if everybody readied up immediately, no one is going to say, "Oh, I'm not playing Left 4 Dead anymore. It's just not the same unless I'm waiting 30 minutes to play this game." This isn't what I grew to love, but I think the parts of the game that we do love are certainly made up for, and even if we have to wait a little bit longer for it.
So still waiting for the fourth player on Pro Gamers to join. Hopefully that should be soon.
Yeah, 4 out of 7 of these players are currently AFK, which is not the greatest sign. I'm also I've got a Smash tournament on my phone. I could cast that for you guys, but I'm not sure if that would be exactly polite. But I guess we could do a super quick roster rundown for these two teams, or once the fourth does join up. Have you been watching? Oh, I believe that is probably the fourth for Team Pro Gamers. We're just waiting on Jugador to possibly tag up and confirm whether or not he is the missing member for Team Pro Gamers or not.
The missing link.
Oh, he went AFK.
Naturally, but they haven't kicked him yet or said anything in their team chat, so I'm thinking that maybe he is supposed to be here.
Oh, looks like everyone's coming back.
Okay, fantastic.
So I just want to talk about this first hit here, K3.
Yeah,
We have a Charger,
absolutely.
Jockey, Hunter, I think a Boomer, or
Yeah,
another Hunter.
I can't see my spec HUD yet, so it looks like Hunt. It looks like the last SI. I'm trying to follow this ghost around. It looks like another hunter. So this is an immediate quad cap on the first hit, which can be just If I don't think I've ever seen a quad cap land on the very first hit before, but I would love to see.
This is potentially very dangerous for the survivors because this death charge here and the death jockey could spell disaster.
Yeah, if the jockey gets a cap and takes him over the side where the big slope is, he will not get a ledge hang, and so it's just an instant kill for free. However, it's a little harder to execute those without a smoker or a boomer. I'm guessing they're probably just going to go for the caps here, and going for death charges and giant plays like that was much more commonplace back in 2015, 2016, but in 2019, where everything is getting skeeted and everything is getting shut down, I believe they're probably just going to go for damage. But we are going live here. We'll do a roster rundown after this first hit, but we will have the survivors pushing forward here. Probably going to be using a full shotgun or at least mostly shotgun spread on their weapons. Just kind of probably creep up this hill here, they do see what the hit is, and so they know that if this quad cap lands on us, we're done for the round, and we do not want to end our round with a 40-point chapter.
Hunter spawning up, the hit's coming in.
100 landing onto Zoe there, but it gets cleared off before the rest of the SI can land. This is a nice double charge, though, landing all the way down. That's a lot of damage from the Hunter onto Lewis, and that's like, what, 4 slams from the Charger? And the Jockey, unfortunately, was a little bit late there, but landing on to Bill there for a ton of damage. These clears are a little bit slow, I find. After that first Hunter landed and got cleared off fairly quickly, I thought that was going to be mostly it for the hit, but now Francis has already popped a set of pills and really nicely done by the SI side there on Team Flamingo to get a lot of damage off their first hit.
That was a really good hit by Team Flamingo, but they're setting up for the second hit now. Hunter in the back. It's going in.
I'm reloading.
They've set the smoker up in front.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for the smoker to come in, but he does get a pull all the way down. Boomer is going to miss though, but that's a tri-cap landing. 2 hunters onto the 2 survivors and a big smoke separation on the bridge. I was a little skeptical of his smoker spot when he was walking across that bridge, but just all the caps landing in perfect synchronization and doing a ton of damage. I don't see the survivors being able to play this tank long anymore because they're all bleeding out. They only have 2 sets of pills left, and as this is Apex, there will be no other sets of pills spawning, and now the tank is up in the hands of Team Flamingo Vanille, and I do not believe we have worms for this game, so we're going to be keeping it here. But yeah, now the SI in a perfect position here to just play this tank long if they want to, and just go for booms and hits, and survivors just want to take this as probably as quickly as they can in the room. But we do have a Charger going in, not going to land on the slam, but it's an amazing tri-boom, and I don't know, spawns are down, but I think if you're the tank, you just start to move in. This tank is positioned right outside this big room here, and survivors are trying to get a bit of chip on him. They realize if the tank goes in now, they're probably going to get destroyed, but the tank is in. He's got instant corner onto Bill here. That's going to be an incap, but he's still got 65% health. Oh, but he gets hit on top of the cliff here, and the tank can't reach him anymore.
The tank has to commit onto Lewis. Bill's still somehow up. But the tank is just doing damage to everyone else, and that's 2 incaps.
Tank is going to find the lockup here onto Francis, and now Zoe is the last survivor up and gets too close. Zoe could have kept cutting backward, but gets really close to the tank there, and is going to get punched away. It's getting the tank rock, thankfully, but is now the only SI, is now the only survivor of having to deal with this whole SI hit coming in. We have a jockey coming in, trying to close out this wipe for Team Flamingo, and Charger as well, and they are going to land it. Charger landing on to Royon there, and that will be the round. Wow, nicely done by Team Flamingo, securing the wipe. What did you think about that tank fight there, Caution?
I thought that was very good. They played that well, but it was fortunate that the 3-boom landed, and the SI just did so much damage before. Vanilla could have opted to play that long, but as that 3-boom landed, and the spawn timer went down a bit more, went in and got the wipe.
Yeah, the boomer just landed right in that doorway on right behind the charger, and they were too busy clearing that cap, and boomer just getting an amazing try boom. And as much as you're trying to uh, if the survivors are bleeding out, you probably want to try to play it long usually, but when there's a try boom, you kind of can't pass it up. But unfortunately, we didn't get the time last chapter because they went live so much quicker than I was anticipating. But we can do some roster rundowns for these two teams. So for Team Pro Gamers, we will have Zyko, Blazzy, Royon, and Jugador. And for Team Flamingo, how about you take it away, Caution?
We have Lobster, Q, Vanilla, and Nuth. So they are playing their survivor round. I think they're opting for a 2-2 setup. Zoe at the front with the shotgun, but let's just see how they take this first hit.
Yeah, we do have these SI set up in these trees up ahead, looking to get maybe some quick rocket spawns on top of them, trying to emulate the kind of damage that was thrown on to their survivor side. So programmers really, now the pressure's on and they don't want to go behind a lot because this is only one game on a neutral server. They do not have the kind of the buffer of playing home and away to kind of give them more opportunity for points. This kind of do or die to get these big SI hits on now. The survivors are pushing way in front. The SI are opting to come in a bit late on this. The survivors are in the trees here. We have 200s coming in. 100 getting skeeted there by Q. 100 landing for a bit of damage. Actually, I think he was in a death charge spot there for a second, but getting cleared there really nicely. And that's going to be only about 29 damage going off of that first hit there.
That was an interesting first hit there because they let the survivors push forward, clear out the commons, and get into that safe corner. And in doing so, they gave up that second hit. So maybe they'll look to hit around the car, the ammo pile.
Gotcha. Yeah, so sorry for calling you Caution there for a while. I was Chris was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get Caution to cast," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, sounds good." And then I heard an Australian guy join the server, and I was like, "Oh, that's probably Caution."
Look, I'm sorry to disappoint you that I'm not Caution, but
yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a letdown. We do have a boomer next getting popped though, and we do have these hunters set up for some DPs up top, but the survivors are in an amazing position now to just spawn this tank up right now and take it back to this room here. And I don't know, SI are in a bit of a rough spot here. Hunter going in for a DP, but is going to go and miss it in the trees there. Smoker getting a bit of a quick pull, but it's not going to do any damage. And now we have a half health Smoker just trying to sack himself, and it's not a good position for the SI. Survivors are in a great spot to just, play this as long as they want, get some chip on the tank, and hopefully make it into the safe room with a big health bonus.
Yeah, I think this tank is opting to play long as well, see if his an SI can do some damage, wiggle them down a bit, make them commit.
Yeah, absolutely. Tank is actually not opting to go behind the fence, which is typically the usual spot that tanks will go to play this long. So maybe he is just looking to commit this quickly with the tri-cap. And he's getting pushed now. Tank is going to start taking a lot of chip if the SI don't do something about this. It looks like the tank is just going to opt to roll in, taking a lot of chip early here. Looking for this first lockup. The SI are not going in yet until he gets this first corner, but he misses his first punch. He finally gets the punch off on Bill, but he gets knocked really far away, and now he's got almost nothing. The SI have to start going in now, or else the tank's just going to die. SI do opt to finally go in. Hunter trying to go in. Jockey getting shut down there by Lobster. Hunter landing for a bit, but gets cleared off, and now Tank has nothing. Tank is all alone. No real way to get out. They're just going to push him to death, I think, and this looks like it's going to be a dead tank there for Team Pro Gamers.
That was a bit of an unfortunate situation because the survivors pushed the tank forward, trying to do a little bit extra chip, and as he committed, they ran forward as well, and all the SI was behind, so they just shut it down, not worrying about the tank.
Yeah, it looked like Tank didn't know whether he wanted to commit there immediately or if he wanted to wait for maybe a better hit. But he wasn't in a very good spot. He wasn't behind the he was not behind the bushes and the fence there, so he didn't really have the opportunity to choose. He just had to go in. And now with this hit here getting cleared off and the hunter really, really far away, survivors are about to walk in here with what looks like just about a 400 bonus. Boomer is going to land on Francis's head and get popped, though. Only one boom going out here. And they have a smoker trying to find something and a hunter maybe looking for a bit of a chip damage off of a DP or whatever. But I know these SI have to land something really big or else they're going to go down by a lot of points. We do have a new
nice
2-cap landing. Smoker getting a quick full back, and other hunter landing for a bit of chip damage, but not a lot. A nice last effort there, trying to get a bit more extra damage, but that will be Team Flamingo walking to the safe room with a 348 bonus, and that is a lot of points there for a first map on Blood Harvest.
If you're Team Flamingo, you're feeling pretty good about that. Taking the tank really well, shutting down the hit. I'd be very confident going into that second map.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this gives them the opportunity to kind of build up some momentum and really just start to kind of develop a flow. I think that, you know, once you get that first lead in a match, it's really, you know, the ball is in your court and it's really hard to kind of get that taken away from you a lot of the time if the other team is getting flustered by the fact that they got wiped on that first tank or whatever.
This is a little bit interesting because this is an 88% tank, and usually we're seeing tanks being fought around 30% around the forklift area. So well, I wonder how Team Flamingo opts to play this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty good tank finding spots on this map that you can take it. You know, if you do have an 88% tank, there is a, you know, there's not really any bad options as to where you can fight this tank because the second half of this map is just so open. Most teams usually opt to take it back at the beginning of the trains where they exit into the outside. There's a lot of really good spots you can stand where the SI only have 1 or 2 spots that they can come in from. So that's definitely an unfortunate tank spawn for Team Pro gamers that want to get some kind of early wipe and help close this gap a bit more.
Now, on this first hit, we have a Boomer, Charger, Smoker, and a Hunter. So maybe the Boomer can land and the other SI can do some chip to the survivors.
If I'm Team Pro gamers, I'm probably trying to drop the Boomer last here and try to get some kind of big play with a quad cap or something like that on the next hit. We do have the Boomer going in by himself first here. He's not going to land on anyone, gets shoved and shut down. We do have the Smoker spawn up in the back. Charger going in, getting one slam. Actually manages to get a full slam there out onto Bill. So decent damage there going off of that first hit. It was looking pretty grim after the Boomer pop and the Smoker shut down, but nicely done by Blasi on Team Pro Gamers trying to get a bit of extra damage. But we do have the survivors pushing up to this event here, and I believe it is mostly commonplace for the survivors to just hold out this horde now. We do have a hunter sneakily spawned up here, trying to find a cap onto Francis, is going to find it. 2 boom landing onto Zoe and Lewis, but unfortunately the other hunter is just a little too late and is going to get skeeted there. Jockey landing for about 5 damage, but not much. And now the survivors can just sit out pretty much the majority of this horde if they want to.
This is a very nice double boom, but unfortunately the SI was a little bit unsynchronized there. That Hunter had a very cheeky spawn though, I like that.
Yeah, I was definitely a fan of that Hunter spawn, but if you are going to spawn that close, I believe that you are going to kind of want to wait a little bit longer just to make sure that your other SI are going to land in synchronization with you. We do have the next hit coming up here though. 100 going to land again, just kind of by himself though, for a bit of damage, and doesn't look like the rest of his SI were ready for it. So possibly just a bit of miscommunication going down from Team Pro Gamers, maybe not saying when they're ready for the hit. And I would like to definitely see them potentially sync up a little bit more, because right now survivors are just doing such a good job at shutting everything down when they're coming in like that.
Do have a quad here, so let's see what damage Team Pro Gamers can do with it.
Pull is going to miss there onto Lewis, getting dodged around the pillar. Charger then goes in on nothing and slams into the pillar as well. And Hunter is now just by himself and is probably just going to get skeeted, and he does. And then Jockey going in by himself manages to get a bit of damage out, and that was a quad cap, but the Jockey wasn't quite up in time to help out with that. Again, just things not quite going in quite at the same time here to be able to really capitalize on anything. So yeah, I mean, Team Flamingo are just playing too tight on Survivor's side to let anything land like that.
Taken this event really well. They get the shutdown on the boot, and they're very confident, looking very good for this tank fight. Now Charger comes in, misses, unfortunately, and the Smoker misses as well, and that Hunter lands for a little bit of damage but gets cleared instantly. That was a really good take by Flamingo.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Flamingo are just really showing that they came into this ready to fight. We do not want to lose our opportunity at making the playoff bracket. We definitely want to keep fighting as far as we can. And they've really come to put on a show here, and they're looking to run forward. And I believe there'll only be maybe 1 or 2 hits left before the tank spawns, and that's a lot of health going into it.
Weapons here. This tunnel heads the right way. Reloading!
We do have the survivors set up out in this train yard now. Charger is going to kind of spawn up by himself in the front, is looking for something, but isn't being able to find anything at the moment. Boomer's struggling to get a spawn in the back. Bunny hops in, does land a nice 2-boop proxy. Jockey is landing onto Zoe for a lot of damage right now. This is really good chip onto survivors. This is the kind of hits that I was looking to see from Team Pro Gamers earlier on. And if they can keep landing big chip like that on every hit, then I think we're going to start to see them pull up the bigger SI plays that we want.
Yeah, exactly, and that hit was well played. Nice proxy there, going in together. And
Yeah.
the next hit's coming up, but that tank will be up.
Yeah, you saw with that last hit that the Charger noticed that the rest of the spawns weren't ready to go in and just kind of was patient. He waited until they were able to go in and was able to help out there. But the Boomer was getting nicely popped there just by Lobster. And then, wow, you see what I said earlier on about if the Boomers land, that then you're winning, and if the Boomers are getting popped, then you're losing. Because the Boomer just got popped and the whole hit just got absolutely annihilated there by Team Flamingo. And they're really starting to show that, you know, when we're really paying attention to the spawns and we're getting those Boomer shutdowns, we're not taking damage at all.
Looks like the survivors are running this all the way back, as it seems.
Yeah, second tank of the game for Team Pro Gamers up in the hands of Jugador. And we have Phil way up high. They're trying to get some early chip on. That was pretty dangerous. I like those risky plays, though. Do we have a Jockey spawned up? Trying to get a bit of something. Maybe strike for this Boomer. Boomer rocketing in. Is going to land on top of Bill's head, get a nice 2-boom. And this is a great opportunity for this tank to start moving closer to the survivors. We do have Zoe up here on top of this train, trying to not let this tank get anything, though. Tank is kind of on his own now. He's out in the open, taking a lot of chip from Zoe. Survivors are pushing this tank really hard now, and the tank is going to have to decide to go in right here, or else he's just not going to get anything. And he's taking a lot of chip going around that corner. Hit is up for the support for the SI. It will be a Charger, Smoker, and a Hunter, and the tank is he's got to go with this. He can't play this bleed anymore because he's just taking too much chip. But Smoker is looking for that separation pull onto Zoe, but it's not going to land. Rocketing skated there by Lobster, and this is looking grim for the.
Yeah, and that Smoker's in no man's land and is very low. So he's second, very low, almost very low second. He might have to commit.
Yeah, and he's got to go in with 2 spawns. Charger is set up on top, looking for something. He's got to help now. Charger is going in, going to miss onto Francis. Hunter coming in as well, trying to get something, but the tank is just getting kited way by himself. He's down to almost no health, and this is going to be a 0 uncapped tank. Tank is now dead from Jugador, and very, very nicely handled by the survivors. They capitalized on when the tank was alone and in the open, got tons of chip, and just put the tank in such a bad position where he had no option but to keep running away.
That was a very smart play by Flamingo, getting that extra chip onto the tank while the spawns.
Yeah, right.
But, unfortunately, that Smoker didn't get a early pull for the tank. I would have liked to seen that.
Yeah, that was definitely their best opportunity at getting something, was to pull Zoe, who was definitely way further ahead than the rest of the survivors, into danger. Really nice skate there, going down there onto Roy, owned by Lobster. And that's another amazing shutdown by Team Flamingo. And they're about to walk into the safe room with a 576 health bonus. So really, really well played by the survivors on that half again by Team Flamingo. this is definitely one of those situations where Team Pro Gamers are now really up against it. If they do not make it to the safe room on this map, then they're facing, you know, about a 1,400 point difference going into map 3, which is really, really tough to come back from, especially on a campaign like Blood Harvest, where getting the wipes is very difficult.
And especially since this is just one neutral game, the back's against the wall. They need to put their foot down and they need to they need to come together as a team, shut down the SI, take the tank well, and make it with really good bonus to still have a chance in this game.
Absolutely. We do have a Hunter spawn up a bit early here. Zoe is going up ahead. He's going to get capped by that Hunter. Amazing double charge landed in the back, and this is a ton of damage onto Zoe. He's getting really separated, almost down to all of her HP taken away there from that Hunter and Boom combination. And it looked like she kind of jumped a bit too far ahead there, I think, and the rest of her survivors weren't quite ready to go help her out. And Zyko there taking a lot of damage off of that first hit, and great capitalization there by the Hunter and Boomer, noticing that Zoe was separated, and then the double charge in the back just there to help it out.
Have the hit coming in, one Boom landing and a jockey landing on Bill. Hunter lands and the Charger tries to land but misses and gets a couple scratches on Bill and Zoe. It's pretty good chip all around.
Yeah,
and
it looked like
Zoe,
Charger got several punches.
Zoe has to commit another set of pills, so this isn't looking too good for pro gamers.
Yeah, when you're bleeding going into the event, let alone the tank, all of a sudden the ball's in the SI's court to just, you know, play the way that you want to, and you can wait for the choke points that you want to, and you can wait for the tank hits that you want to when they're bleeding out. And we do have the Boomer getting nicely shut down though. Pull off going on to Zoe, that's going to be some fall damage I believe as well, and Jockey taking Francis into the Himalayas for a lot of damage. And that's going to be another, that's going to be our Zoe's first in-cap, yeah. And then Bill also commits his pills as well, so they're going to have only one set of pills left going into this tank fight. And the SI are just really doing a great job at getting huge amounts of separation onto the survivors and just dealing out damage with every. Even when their boomers are getting popped, they're just managing to find the damage. We do have a nice ski going there from Blazzy onto Lobster. Quad boom landing, and again, just, you know, pretty solid chip coming up from that. Hunter landed right in front of the other survivors and didn't quite get cleared fast enough, and now the survivors are in a pretty rough shape going into the end of this event, and they really are going to have to play aggressively on this tank if they're going to make it in with their.
I think the survivors on that last hit were looking to push forward, but unfortunately they gave up the top spawns, just a bit hesitant in pushing forward. Doing that, the SI was able to land. Now the next hit comes in, Hunter coming in, lands onto Francis.
Zoe having Zoe having a bit of a hard time with that jockey there in that corner, and managed to keep Zoe separated that she couldn't help out the rest of her survivors that were dealing with the rest of the hit there. And again, they're going to have to commit another set of pills, so this is now a really rough spot going into this tank, and they're going to have to push this tank, because they cannot afford to take it super long, because they're just going to get bled out, I think.
Yeah, the tank is up in the hands of Nuth, and if I was him, I would play this long.
Yeah.
Let him bleed and commit with possibly a tri-cap, or see if a Boomer can land. But the Hunter coming in, getting a couple scratches.
Yeah, the Hunter landing onto Francis there actually put him permanently slow. So I actually did check MVP, and it looks like Rorion does have 54 friendly fire, which is really unfortunate. I think they've just gotten a bit bunched up there and are just having a hard time getting the clears that they need to. And now they're in a really rough spot. Yeah, it looks like tank in the hands of Nuth, really far away, just getting a lot of LOS on the survivors, and now they're forced to just either LOS super hard or push the tank like. Oh, we have a Charger looking for the separation onto Lewis, but isn't going to find it. Getting punches onto Bilda, who now is permanently slow for the rest of the map. Skeet going out onto the rock, but the tank got pretty much a free cross up top, and this is the perfect spot for him to play this long, and the survivors are not LOSing him at the moment.
He can just keep sight for days here and just let him bleed out. See what his support can do, see if they can whittle him down a bit more. but the survivors might look to push forward. They know that they have to go for some distance. They can't hold it out here.
Yeah, Francisco's getting some rock ski practice, which is, always useful. But it looks like they are going to opt to go underneath, except Zoe is still up top. Tank is going to get the cutoff here. Zoe is separated behind them. The SI can capitalize off this. Boomer going in, trying to find Zoe. There's a lot of separation going out here. Bill is in-capped in the back. Tank is going to find this corner. Hunter on Zoe, going to get the in-cap as well. Now Lewis is the only one up, and he gets hunted, and that is going to be the wipe going out on to Team Pro Gamers by Team Flamingo.
Lewis trying his hardest to stay alive, finding his way, but unfortunately his team's just gonna die, and there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, there's about to be a giant wave of horror going after him from the two boom that landed, and yeah, he's gonna get punched into the jockey, gonna get the 1-2 combo there, and that's gonna be a wipe. And now the survivors for Team Pro Gamers, not making the sweep, and we're going to be down almost 1,400 points, or no, rather almost 1,200 points going into map 3.
That was well played by that tank by Nuth. As I said, he just let him bleed, kept the line of sight, let his SI whittle them down, and just committed when they were looking to push forward. That was really well done.
Yeah, Zoe, who is there in the back, and the tank just really nicely got in there, the perfect opportunity, cut them off, and all of a sudden as I had free reign on the rest of the 3 survivors to just go in there and capitalize, and Boomer landed. Yeah, that's probably the name of it, is everything has been landing. Team Flamingos, no matter what their SI is, they've just been, even if it's only for a few damage, they're just landing everything, and nothing's really getting shut down, and so they're doing a really great job at capitalizing on every moment. Looks like the tank percent for this map is going to be 45%, so not necessarily the worst tank spawn for Team Pro Gamers, as it will be early enough that if they do manage to get the weapon, they have a lot of opportunity to make up some points. So definitely not out of the woods is Team Flamingo yet, but they do actually have a quad cap here lined up for this. So Hunter's going to go and get cleared. Other Hunter going to go in, not going to find anything. Actually, there's a nice tri-cap landing. Charger going to get 1 slam in the back. Hunter landing for about 25 damage. That's some pretty solid damage. Actually, I think considering how well the other 3 SI landed, if the other Hunter had gone in just a little bit later, then they could have landed that quad cap.
Yeah, that was very well played, doing a bunch of chip damage to Francis and Will. But they should get a boomer this hit. Wonder where they will put that. Now with this tank, you can, if they send a hit in here, you can opt to push up and clear out all the commons, or the hit can just save and the tank can commit with the commons up top, keep them down below. So I wonder what pro gamers will look to do.
I hear a hunter.
And now tank up for Team Pro Gamers is up in the hands of Royon. Hit is going in here, just getting a nice little bit of damage. Charger getting just mowed down by the shotguns of Team Flamingo. And Boomer's not going to find a target here. And so now Tank is alone, and survivors are going to push this tank really hard. Now he's alone, he's out in the open, he can't decide if he wants to commit or not. Rock is going to miss out there onto Zoe, having a bit of trouble dealing with the horde, but the tank is in, and he's got no support right now, taking a ton of damage. Yeah, again, this is Tank getting caught in a bad position, not knowing whether to commit or to back off. Now Tank is going to die before any support gets up, and that is a dead Tank. 0 hits going out from Team Pro Gamers, and that's a yikes. That's not what Team Pro Gamers wanted at all.
It was a bit unfortunate, because as I said, there's a lot of commons up ahead, and Zoe at one point was common lock, so the tank could have, instead of going for Lewis, the one that was free, and could just run him back, could have gone for Zoe and possibly got an in-cap, but turned out to be a no. But the next hit is up.
Yeah, they do have another quad cap here set up. This is maybe their last opportunity for the map to really seal things up. They have got to get something big. Hunter landing onto Bill is going to get cleared off though. Jockey looking for something onto Lewis in the back, isn't going to land, gets M2'd, and then is going to get only a few ticks of damage onto Lewis afterward. Hunter landed for a bit of damage, but that's going to be it for that hit. And now survivors again in the position to make it with a 600 or so health bonus if they walk in with this health.
Maybe if you're pro gamers at the moment, you'd want to sack the boom and go for another quad with the horde, but with this bonus that the survivors had, it's looking very grim.
Yeah, boomers are really strong in this next area though, so if they do manage to land a large boom, then they might have one glimmer of hope of getting a lot of this health bonus down, but the boom is going to land onto one survivor. Big separation pull going out in the front though. Cover on the hunter, really nicely done getting the stumble. Another cover going out by the other hunter, just a tiny bit late, unfortunately not going to get too much damage. And now this is Team Flamingo maybe getting all the way to the safe room if the SI aren't up in time. Yeah, they're all fast, none of them are bleeding, and there's only a couple of spawns coming up here. They're just going to go and they're just going to make it into there if the SI don't do
This
something
charger
right.
has to go big.
Oh yeah, he can't spawn in the safe room. One boom is out. Hunter looking for something. Is going to land onto Lewis. There is a bit of an opportunity for some extra damage here. Charger going in, going to miss on the safe room door, and that is the survivors in. They managed to get a decent amount of extra damage there onto the survivors, lowering the health bonus by about 80 points more, but that is the Flamingo walking in again. I don't think they've suffered a single in-cap this entire campaign yet. And that's walking in with a 512 health bonus, which is the doors are now closing on Team Pro Gamers unless they really pick something up fast.
That was a good idea by Team Flamingo, pushing that tank, trying to get that early chip while the spawns were down. But again, Zoe was common locked, could have possibly had an in-cap, but the tank committed on the wrong person just then.
Yeah, Tank was caught up in a rough position. He thought that he maybe wanted to go in with the hit that he had, but the SI hit kind of all went in and he was left with nothing, and he couldn't decide whether he wanted to keep going in with the horde or if he wanted to back off, and he just got caught off and was killed out before the rest of his SI could do anything. So really nicely done by Team Flamingo capitalizing. But we do have a hit going in here. Nice double cap landing. Tri-cap. This is almost a quad cap landing. Charger coming in there, but this is still a big tri-cap. Massive damage going out onto Team Pro Gamers by Team Flamingo. And Jockey is still riding Lewis into oblivion. Yeah, they've already, Team Pro Gamers has already gotten beaten out for their health bonus for this map. This is just disastrous. Tank now has a lot of opportunity to make a lot. That was almost the quad cap going out there too.
Coming into this tank too, they've got one guy bleeding, so the tank could opt to play it long, but a 2-boom land.
Yeah, survivors are just not able to go fast anymore into this tank with all this horde coming in. There's going to be a ton of horde at the top of the hill. It's going to make it really hard to push if they do so choose to make that off. And now they have to take no damage on this next tank, or else it's going to be really difficult to make a comeback, if it wasn't already difficult enough as it was. Survivors are opting to push here, but there was a tiny bit of separation there. Hunter going in and getting a nice 13 damage pounce onto Blasi, who is now slow. Other Hunter, I believe, is still just pouncing around, maybe looking for a damage bounce. And Tank is just set up for a long tank again, and landing it a nice rock there across the sky onto Lewis. And yeah, this is a really rough position. He's looking to just play this long.
This is a smart play, just let him bleed. And Zoe and Francis are very close to becoming slow, so if the SI can whittle them down, do a bit more damage.
Exactly,
and given end up being a wipe.
Yeah, given the trends of Team Flamingo just landing all of their SI, it's a good decision to play long and just if they're gonna always land their SI, might as well just keep going in like this. There's gonna be almost a tri-cap landing again. Rock is going to connect onto the jog target as well for both rage and damage. And now this is gonna be Team Pro Gamers trying to push the tank for something, because they cannot sit out here taking this damage anymore, because they're just gonna get wiped if they keep it up like that. The Smoker's been up for like 3 hits also, and it's just been causing lots of mayhem onto the survivors. The Horde is mostly clear up ahead though, so if they do choose to push forward, then they don't have to deal with tons of common effect. Rock almost landing there. Hunter gonna go in, get a decent cap, 1 boom landing as well. Rock is gonna fly and get skeeted by Zyko though, saving the rest of his team. And that Smoker does finally die after about 3 or 4 hits with his team. But Lewis is super common locked in the back while the rest of his team is trying to push forward. Ooh, Francis.
And then Ninkap was,
Yeah. Yeah,
the tank
Francis
just
tried to
gets up
sneak
top.
past the tank.
Shit. I'm really messed up.
It's a hit coming in here. Treasure is going to miss, but we do have a punch going out onto Jugador, who almost got death punched there going down the hill. Another punch going out onto Bill. 2 incaps out here. Zoe is basically cornered. Hunter going out onto Lewis, or onto Bill rather, and the punch onto Zoe is going to clear up the wipe. That is going to be 3 for 3 for tank wipes on Team Flamingo now. And they are up almost 2,000 points going into the next map. And, you know, like as much as time and time again, we'll see in these casts, you know, it's mathematically possible to win. It's not out of the reach per se, but you know, I'm a man of the numbers and statistics, and statistically speaking, this game is almost over at this point. I don't think I've quite seen a comeback of this caliber. I think Team Flamingo has just been outplaying Team Pro Gamers in pretty much every facet from SI and Survivor side, and they've just really come to prove that they've got something to show in this tournament.
And as you said, it's also about having the ball in your court. They got a really good lead on map 1, and then they just converted that into a really good lead on map. And then that them wiping every tank, they would be feeling really confident coming into this 4th map.
Yeah, they just got cascading momentum right now, and I don't know if this is not a big wipe early on here in this map for Team Pro Gamers, and that being said, they do land a nice 14 damage pounce, which is the way that you do want to start this map off. Boomer is going to get a 1 boom as well. Hunter is looking to come in here, looking for that damage pounce. Is going to land a 23 pounce onto Lewis, so really nice damage pounces going out there from that last hit, which is the type of damage that you are going to be wanting to see. I think if Pro Gamers were landing hits like that the whole campaign, then this might have been a different story there here at EBA.
So 53% tank. I think Team Flamingo is just going to opt to hold it in the forecourt. We usually see a lot of teams hold it there. It's the most common spot. But we have a hit off, another quad cap. Smoker spawning up the back. So Smoker gets M2'd, the jockey gets M2'd, and it's just a shutdown. Hunter getting skeeted as well. The Charger's in no man's land. He can't find a spawn.
Yeah. Casting in 2019 is such a different thing compared to casting like 2015. Back then you were like, oh my god, these hunters, they're not landing, they're just getting skeeted. But now 2019, oh my god, the hunter landed, he didn't get skeeted, it's amazing. It's like everyone, like even like the low mid-level teams and everything, they all just shut down everything because like the you know the low bar of the game is just so much higher than it used to be. And every team is just so good on Survivor side at killing stuff now and just shooting their guns and pointing and clicking at things. But now this crucial tank up for Team Pro Gamers in the hands of Blazzy. They do land a 1 boom here, so we do have to see tank is going to elect to commit with this. This is do or die for them. They need to get this wipe here now. Looking for the corner out. It's not going to find anything yet, though. He's getting juked out, but he does find the lockup onto Lewis. He needs to get this end cap now. This SI needs to wait. Oh, but they don't find it onto... they don't find the caps out in the back, but they do have a lot of separation going out here. This is going to be an end cap out onto Bill. Lots of damage here, but it's actually still maybe potential for a wipe. Nice double punch there going out onto 2 of the survivors. Finding this, and then there's only 1 survivor left, so if Team Pro Gamers are going to get the wipe, they're going to get it right now. He does find this, almost getting the wipe onto Team Flamingos. He had to lock up with the pistols from the down survivors on Team Flamingo, just managing to kill the tank in time. That was still very nicely played by Blazzy and the SI support, almost getting the wipe.
Oh, it was a very nice tank by Blazzy. He got, I think, 2 double punches and spread the love to everyone. That's the lowest I think Team Flamingo has been in terms of their health this game.
Yeah, that's the first time we've taken any in caps, if I am correct. And that's a lot more than 1 in cap. That's 3 in caps and almost getting wiped out there. So very nicely done. Not quite the wipe that they need though, and it looks like the survivors are in a position to keep moving forward. But an amazing tri-boom landing here Jockey is looking to land onto Zoe there. Charger is going to get shut down, but there's a 2-cap landing for a bit of damage. Hunter is still taking away at Francis, and that's a lot more damage going out onto the survivors. And SI have really picked up the speed and are landing much better hits than they were before.
Just like to comment on what you said before. The boomers are landing, and the pressure's on. They're doing a lot more damage. They're slowing down the survivors, and if they keep up this pace, they might just bleed out.
Yeah, definitely. If there was a map for Team Flamingo to get wiped on, this would be the one. They do have a 3-1 with the boomer here coming in here. Charger is going to find a 2 charge, but it's going to get cleared. Bill flying super far away there. And Hunter gonna go in for some scratches, get set down. Smoker a bit late there, gonna get killed off after about 1 tick of damage. And definitely the survivors in a part where it's difficult, they don't have really any bonus left, but they can still walk into the safe room at this rate.
This is turning into one of those.
Francis is 2 scratches. Maybe they will send the support in this room, try and cap him before he gets out. Jockey looks through it, but gets shut down. Now Hunter comes in, gets skeeted, very nice skeet by Vanille, and then the Charger comes in from the misses, and then other Hunter comes in and gets skeeted by Q. Very nice shutdown.
That was a class A shutdown. They had Horde coming in, they're all slow and bleeding out, and just really nice shots there going out from the survivors. Just that was actually also a quad cap attempt going in there, but everything just getting railed by the shotguns. So very nice shutdown there, and showing that even when they're up against it and or have been taking lots of damage in the map, they're still able to bring out the shutdowns. Do have a 1 boom going out here, Proxy onto Zoe. Pull going out for a little bit of damage. Hunter going in for some scratches, but isn't going to find anything. Smoker, same story. And Jockey is going to find the in-cap onto Bill, but that's the last SI for the map, it looks like, unless Royon can come in here really quickly and find maybe a couple scratches or whatever. But that looks like it might be just about safe room for Team Flamingo again. I keep almost trying to say Team Florida because of the FLA. I keep thinking Team Florida, which was another former Left 4 Dead 2 team. Yeah, I know, right? As just being around Adam, I'm like, oh man, Team Florida, what a day that was. What do you mean was fun? You're still getting carried, Adam. No, I agree, getting carried is pretty fun. But yeah, so Team Flamingo making, I believe, 4 out of 4 safe rooms so far, and have basically put themselves at a very, very comfortable 2,300 point lead or so. And yeah, this is where it becomes essentially impossible for Team Pro Gamers, who are, as much as they will be going down into the 0-3 category in this tournament, I do hope that they continue to play out the last of their matches and get the last of their practice in, because tournaments are the best way to get practice as a team if you're looking to improve and have a better showing in the next tournament. And it looks like,
we just see a GG.
Yeah, they're gonna be calling a GG, I guess, apparently, which is the way that a lot of teams choose to show when they're down by a lot of points, is just call GG. And the other 3 members of Team Pro Gamers readied up and are like, I guess apparently it's GG. So I guess that's just it. If one person on your team calls GG, I guess that's it. So
Yeah.
This will be Team Flamingo taking the win over Team Pro Gamers by a commanding 2,972 to 639, barring whichever, whichever survivor score Team Pro Gamers was about to get. And yeah, I mean, that's just it. If you have momentum and you're playing amazing on both SI and survivor sides, and sometimes it just gets in the other team's head, and they just it's just a bit too much pressure, and you kind of end up quitting out before the game's over.
Yeah, and just like you said, Team Flamingo were playing exceptional survivor, shutting down quick clears, boomers getting popped, and the SI, everything was landing, doing a ton of damage. They were just playing very well that game.
Yeah, they did. They came out really showing here. So they will be moving to, I believe, a 1-2 record, which means that if they do win out the rest of their matches, they do still have an opportunity of making the final 8 of this tournament, which would be a very impressive showing. So hats off to them keeping their tournament lives alive here, and really hope to see them carry on this kind of momentum and similar type of tight survivor play and really coordinated SI play going into their next matches. Commiserations to Team Pro Gamers they had some really solid SI play at certain points of the game, and a couple of sprinkles of good clears from the survivor side as well. So they have demonstrated that they do have it in them to get those coordinated plays in and show that they do have the possibility of being a team to be reckoned with if they just tighten up a bit of their consistency, I think, and if they just recognize that they do have it in them to make those kind of plays, then I think that they could definitely improve a lot as a team.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. But that was a good game coming out by Team Flamingo. Team Pro Gamers gave it their best shot. I hope both teams go well in their next games.
Yes, thank you so much for both teams for playing. Thank you so much to my co-caster DDA helping me out here. Very impromptu here on this sudden cast, and thank you very much to Adam for being the greatest cameraman to ever lay fingers on Left 4 Dead 2. Thank you
And a
all so much.
big cheers to Grizz as well for hosting the tournament. Thank you, Mitt.
Yeah, definitely big cheers to Grizz for hosting tournaments. The tournament organizers are so few and far between. It's very difficult trying to come out here when you're, playing a nearly dead game and organize everybody and try to deal with, teams forfeiting and dropping out of the tournament. So, yeah, definitely big thanks to those tournament organizers that keep this community alive, except for Fox. So yeah, cheers, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hope to catch you on the next cast.
Cheers.